Hello. Hopefully the audio is working. Yep, looks like it is. That seems to be my theme every time we start now. Welcome to another episode of Roll This, where a bunch of friends hang out and play Dungeons and Dragons. We will be starting up in a moment, but first I want to let you guys know about our giveaway this week, which needs to focus, but it's not going to. The Phantom Black and Silver dice set. If you guys go to giveaway.rollthis.com or do exclamation point giveaway in the chat. Yes, I'm trying to fix the focus right now. You will be able to get over and see a much better picture of that, along with being able to get entered in. That's where you'll see all of the different ways to enter, basically. And then we also are missing somebody, as you will see now. Kaylet Stretz. It's gone. But we will address that shortly within the game. Don't worry, he'll be back. So,
it's just a dream.
Last we left off, just kind of diving right into things here, because why not? Also, this little cross will go away in a moment. But diving in here, last we left off, there had been a vision that was shown to each of our three party members through a crystal ball by a old sorceress that later revealed herself to be one of the lost dragon goddesses. She showed the three issues pertaining to our three party members, one of which happened to be a threat of spiders and a drider coming in to attack Halfgren at his home, which is Bryn's mentor. And upon teleporting through the trees, the party arrived, slayed the drider and the giant spiders, but couldn't find Halfgren anywhere. Moments later, a massive white winter wolf burst through the trees, carrying Kira, a young wood elf woman who has been a friend of Bryn's ever since he began to grow up. She leads a band of rangers throughout the shifting forest, and they were scouting about, trying to see what was going on in the area. Upon learning of the dark decay, Kira did say she needed to return back and report this to her father, but then something caught her ear, and the party of rangers left the clearing, off to do battle with something. Then our adventurers decided to continue along this path of decay and see what the source may be. Traveling for a full day, there was no real issues that arose on their path. However, as they bedded down for the night, both Bryn and Kaylet Stretz had very vivid dreams. Bryn seeing a potential future of the overall decay spreading throughout the world, and then traveling into a cave of some kind. He saw what seemed to be like a jail door with thick wood going up to a small opening of cast iron bars, where a hand grasped against the bar, revealing on the hand a wooden vine-wrapped ring with a giant emerald set inside of it that Bryn recognized. Then Kaylet Stretz dreamt again of flying over the mountains and then seeing a forge from a first-person perspective as he began to craft something. And then he tried to destroy the naginata he had picked up from the drider. And then he began to craft another sword, all in a dream state. He then saw a large figure similar to himself sitting upon a throne of silver deep in a mountain, surrounded by different treasures and jewels and weaponry. And then they all awoke. And that is where we'll pick up now, with Kaylet Stretz looking a little off. He is being very quiet and just kind of staring off into the trees, eating his breakfast that Bryn had provided, just in silence. And then standing up and kind of looking around.
Am I the mother of this group? Because I keep feeding everyone.
You are, because the last time
Druids,
I tried to
man.
find food, it didn't go well.
As he looks around, I would like for you two to make perception rolls.
Okay.
There's a thing I can do. Well,
Let's see.
that's not a good one. That's a 9.
I got a I rolled a 12 plus perception is 1, so 13.
Okay. You don't notice anything offhand, anything that seems strange or odd, but Kalistrat seems to just be kind of interested in something off into the bushes, so he just kind of begins to walk off that way. Not far, but you guys can still see him. And in a moment, you kind of think maybe he's just going off to take a whiz or something, and you both turn back to your meals of just like, huh, okay. And are there any addressings between the two of you that you would make in this moment?
I bet he's going to go get leaves because they totally work. Yeah, we just let him go. Well, I let him go.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, as he wanders off, you begin to notice the area around you seems to darken again. Similar to what you'd experienced previously when the Drider entered the clearing. Mists starting to form across the ground, sky not visible anymore, and you hear off in the distance a sound of battle. It sounds like, you have different weapons kind of coming together, and both of you turn to look in the direction of Kalistrat's. And you feel like as you turn, your just movements are lethargic, slow, like you're still in a dream or something. What do you both do? What are you attempting to do at this time?
Tending to stand up and staff
You don't
in
see
hand.
anything that way. You hear it.
Right.
You hear just weapon swinging, weapons missing.
But that was the direction Kale went?
That was the direction that Kale went.
So obviously I'm going to try and follow him.
Okay.
Yeah,
See
I'd say
what's-
it sounds like he may be in trouble.
Yep.
But we feel weird. You don't have any detect magic. No, I don't. Okay. So, yeah, I'll just also try to follow.
Okay. As you go, your footsteps feel kind of drunk, for lack of a better term. You're kind of stumbling a little. You feel dizzy and off balance, like you're standing on a log in the water kind of thing. But you are headed forward. And as you round this space, both of you make a... I have to actually look at a character sheet to determine what the thing is I want. Roll d20 and then I'll see what we're adding to it.
What did you put in the porridge?
This is not my fault, trust me.
I think it's a wisdom. Yeah.
What are you trying to do?
So we just add our wisdom?
You're trying to resist something you don't know that is happening. So I believe it'd
saving
be
throw?
your wisdom save.
Cool, that's my best one.
Oh.
Yeah. I noticed that just like right as yours was the one I clicked on to see what a thing looks like what the things I was trying to find were, and I was like, oh well, that was what I was looking for. He's probably gonna do okay on that.
Yeah, if you want that one, that's an 18.
18, okay.
6. So I rolled a
6.
2.
Okay. So you both begin to feel tired, extremely tired. Your eyelids drooping. Maze, you fall to the ground. The last thing you see, leaves just poof up around you. Bryn, you feel this and you see Maze fall, and as soon as she hits the ground, you go, what? And you snap awake. And now you feel like you can move as if a rubber band was being pulled and then and you almost dropping your staff in the moment and catching it, looking around like, what just happened? And you've shaken off whatever effect was over everything. Now rushing forward, you see Kalitstrats in battle with a group of humanoid figures just around the tree outside of your camp. You don't know how they could have possibly gotten so close without you noticing. And you hear just the sounds of battle continuing on. Kale is surrounded in this moment by 4 men dressed in similar to what you'd seen in the vision to the guards around the large figure in Kazesh. But these are made out of leather, it seems, with black cloaks hanging down the back, hoods up, and masks across their face. All of the masks are like flat. They are some kind of metal, but they're just flat across, just covering the face in a humanoid structure, except for one. One that is kind of standing off to the side. You know, he's moving his hands around in front of him continually and just staring at Kalitstrats. He has a mask that is not the same mask that you saw the large figure wearing in Kazesh, but it mimics it in some way. It's like a smaller version of a black dragon with its mouth open and fangs down, but it's all kind of pressed back to where it still looks like a dragon, but it's more conformed to the humanoid face. Again, hood up, but this hood and cloak is more of a velvet, whereas the others were a plain black. And they're just swinging in, and Kayla is fending them off, but he seems to be tiring, and he blocks one away and then parries and strikes down and cuts one in half with his sword. And then he comes back and elbows another in the face, and then he kind of stumbles backwards and falls to one knee just without being struck. And one of them is raising up to strike down on him. What do you do? You're approximately 10 feet away from him right now. You just, the other side of the tree, there it is, right in front of you.
I rush forward, and as I do so, I wild shape into... let's go with Direwolf.
Okay.
And just trying to like tackle him.
Okay, perfect. Roll just your attack on that, or a strength. If you want to, if you're rolling just to knock them over, roll strength, and it'll contest their strength. Or if you're going to jump on them and attack them, roll an attack.
All right, more of a jump attack.
Yep. So just roll plus your strength, and then it'll be a strength contest in essence.
Wait. With the attack?
So you would it's a strength check basically. So you just roll a d20 because you don't have a plus to your strength, but the wolf might. So you add a plus to whatever the wolf's strength is.
That's a nat 20.
Nice.
Nice. So leaping over Kale, your direwolf form having these massive paws, you catch both of these two figures that are remaining with weapons raised in the chest and hit them to the ground, sliding them into the dirt as you go, jumping up, and then putting yourself between the standing figure and Kalitstrats. This moment, the two that you knocked prone are stunned, and they're beginning to stand up. The one that's above is going to shoot out some kind of arcane energy towards you, and to see if he does anything. In your form, you leap to the side as this greenish, reddish, purplish, chromatic type energy that's just kind of all twisting around hits into the ground and just explodes. The dirt flying into the air, but you've managed to avoid it. We are in initiative, but in essence, you're the top, and then these three fall below you. And you, at this moment, that's what the initiative is. Mm-hmm. You're at the bottom at this moment. Mm-hmm. But roll now for your another wisdom save, and then it's your turn. Oh. So you can attack or attempt to reason, or whatever it may be that you would like to do in this moment.
I would like to. 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 I wo Yeah. I don't know how this would really work. I want to intimidate the two that I knocked down.
Okay, see if you can make them flee or something.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
That's the intent. Just
Yep.
basically
Like
tell them,
growl
hey,
at 'em?
don't mess. Yeah, just bear the fangs. Just like get some good drool going.
Yeah. Roll intimidation.
Bryn
Is it
uses
rolling an intimidation?
growl.
Is that a thing? But yeah.
Well, there is
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
there's
there's
an
an
intimidation.
intimidation,
It's a
like
charisma
roll
thing.
to intimidate.
Yeah.
It's just it's not one.
I mean,
of,
it's the same as like persuasion.
I'm saying,
And it would be whatever
my
the
wolf.
plus is
Yeah,
for
my
your
wolf
wolf.
form doesn't affect that.
Okay.
If only I had my Pokemon.
Plus or
I
minus,
feel like you're
which
doing
is-
Pokemon.
And it's gonna give me an 11.
Okay, I'll just roll for each of them and see if one or more of them leave.
Does the wolf have different?
One of them
stats?
actually does.
Sometimes.
Oh, like you
yeah.
can't add yours. So it's just those.
Well, it doesn't change
So,
my charisma.
Yeah, his would be a minus, but because of the other, he doesn't have to subtract one.
What? Not
well-
charismatic? What?
Unless the wolf has a subtraction as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was
my
wondering.
charisma literally doesn't change as a wolf.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so you're -1 either way.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It changes my strength, dexterity, and I think some of them constitution, but the rest
Perfect.
stay the same.
Perfect. And did you
I rolled. It was 11.
an 11?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do start to kind of come back to, but you still feel slow,
Groggy.
but you're very groggy, almost like you'd been knocked unconscious by a force of some kind. But that was not the case. So you are back, but you're not yet fully back.
Okay.
So we now come around to the two on the ground, one of which immediately and just bolts. The other one stands up, afraid, but draws a black, curved, gnarled-looking blade from his side and readies himself, facing towards you. And he doesn't do anything yet. And then the one above, still moving his hands, the darkness still over, seeming to begin to envelop things a little bit further even. The fog picking up to where you can't see outside of 20 feet away from you anymore. It's that thick. You just see the one that ran off, you see just kind of this shape of a shadow running away. And as this happens, let's see, what can you do? That. He's going to cast that same effect again towards you. Use that one. And again, in that wolf form, you bounce back the other direction and narrowly missing Caleb Strats just right in front of him. He looks almost transfixed. You see his eyes don't look like his eyes anymore. They look clouded over. And the brightness that you see in them is only because of the flash of energy shooting by, and you see all this in a moment, and then against a tree, the tree exploding, catching fire in multiple colored flames and falling behind you. Now you have a burning tree behind you, lighting the area a little bit, and this being in front of you then reaches down, dropping any effect of trying to spellcast maze. You feel your energy comes back suddenly, and he draws out two of the same kind of large daggers from his hips, faces towards both of you, and is readied in this position. Now we'll roll actual rolled initiatives.
Okay.
So everybody make your rolls. We have,
Come on, Biggie dog.
in this space, we have one standard soldier type individual, and then one some form of leader caster type, both of which drawing blades, and then Caleb Strats as well
So
exists.
they're not shiny blades.
They are the opposite of shiny blades, except for the edges. You see the edges have this kind of energy around them. It shimmers and shines and has almost a like glittery effect to it, reflecting every little bit of light right just off the edges.
Okay.
Everything else being blackened.
Okay. Like they're laced with something. Got it.
So what What did each of you roll for your initiative?
There we go.
I got a 14.
Okay.
17.
Perfect. So it's Maze and then Bren.
And is Kale like bewitched, or is he
Basically
like
out of the
conscious?
fight.
So, do you hold up here just a second? I am actually making this initiative board.
Okay.
Are you coming up upon him trying to determine this?
Yeah, I'm just because you said the clouded eyes, so
Make an Arcana check.
Ooh, I've not made one of those.
Right.
19.
He does seem to be under some kind of lingering spell of some sorts.
Okay.
He seems not paralyzed, but almost paralyzed. Not entranced in the sense of the entrance that you would get from seeing just like something extremely beautiful. This is just a trance of like, huh?
So I'm not
What?
sensing
Like a fog.
Okay,
kind
so
of
I'm not
thing.
sensing that his mind has been taken over, like hostile towards us. He's just kind of
You rolled a 19?
Yes.
No, you don't sense like he's hostile.
Okay.
More of like he's out of it. Like he doesn't even care to fight now.
He took too much 3-letter oil. That tea, man.
Right.
Okay.
And Maze, as you come in and check on Kaylet Strats, it is actually your turn to have some form of action in this space.
So we are. Is everyone at least within 30 feet of me?
Yeah.
Okay. First thing Maze would like to do is cast Bless on the party.
Okay, perfect. So remember to add your D4 to your stuff.
The D4.
That was just to attacks?
It's actually
everything,
anytime. It
pretty
says I
much.
bless up to 3. It's just whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, the target can roll a D4 and add the number rolled.
And that's just as long as the spell's going?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's concentration up to 1 minute. So I'm going to mark that as cast.
Okay, and anything else? Any actions or any, well, bonus actions, I guess, in that sense? Because Bless would be a...
Yeah, because Bless was my spell. Let's see. There's nothing, like, nearby that I can...
Try and rouse him.
Well, I already used all my abilities.
Smack him.
Yeah, I'll just kind of, like, shake Kale to see if I can at least shake him out of it.
Okay. As you do, he kind of like he's almost like he's asleep and trying not to be woken up. Like,
Mace
and he just kind of tries to push you away.
Sword, because he woke up the last time when I touched that.
And you let's see if he does it again. And as you take this, as you grab for the sword, he's kind of resting on it.
Okay.
And as you go to pull it away, make a strength check.
Yes, the cleric is well known for their strength. I rolled an 8. Oh yeah, plus 0, 8.
Yeah.
So you grab it by the hilt of it, and you grab the crossguard as well to just kind of pull it. And as you do, his grasp just, and he
falls
to the ground, and then kind of starts to try to push himself up, and then just kind of like
Like that half-hearted, I
pauses.
don't want to get out of bed.
And then he just kind of pauses, like half pushed up on his knees, just kind of staring at the ground.
This is new.
And Bryn,
You did this to us, Bobby.
it is now on to you.
Okay, so...
Also, Maze now is wielding Kalestratz's sword
Yes.
in this moment.
That would
I
go
just
well,
picture
I'm
it being bigger than me, though. Like, I mean,
It would be like
she's
honestly,
human
it would
size.
be
What even is your usual
up
melee
to
weapon?
like your
A dagger.
chin. Yeah. How tall is Maze?
She's 5'6", so she's like standard human.
Yeah, it would be like easily like kind of up to your chin almost.
Just as like a huge clay bastard sword, though, wouldn't it?
It's a great sword.
Great sword.
So
Yeah, so-
two-handed, long sword. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, if so Kayla Stratz is basically my height in like real life scenario tying together. Imagine if I were to stand up and then be resting my hands like this in front of me on a sword. So that's the height of that sword in essence.
See, Maze was hoping this would rouse him. Usually it does.
Right. So, pretty clear that these guys want to fight by now. So I'm going to give them a fight. I am going to bite
Okay,
the guy right in front of us.
Which one? The soldier guy or the caster guy? Okay.
I'm assuming the caster guy is a little farther away.
Yes, a little bit farther away, yeah.
But she's within 5 feet of me.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so you guys are both right beside Kale. So yes.
Yeah. And he's right in front of us, so...
Yep.
All right, that gives me advantage on an attack roll.
Okay.
Thanks to pack tactics. Thank you.
Perfect.
Wolf form.
Yep, absolutely. That's why wolves are good.
Well, that's nat 20 anyway, so
nice.
let's just do that.
No need for the...
Okay, perfect.
25 if you need that.
Wow. Yeah, that'll hit.
So that's... And then I do... That, 6. And then we'll do a d4. It's 11 piercing damage, and it has to succeed on a 13 strength saving throw.
No, it doesn't. Because as you leap forward, you latch onto his throat and just rip it out, and his body falls to the
I forgot
ground.
I was just going to try and mostly disarm him, but that works too.
Right, yeah, you fully disarmed him of every capacity.
Right.
He's armed, yet he's unarmed.
In his last moments, and he's expired. Make a perception check since you're right up on him, though.
Me?
Yep.
I also have advantage on that.
Yep.
If it relies on hearing or smell.
No, it's actually sight.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a 16.
A 16. You
Which is
briefly
less than my passive.
You briefly seem like you notice smoke rising from his blood, and then it fades away. And then we come back around to where the soldier would be, now to Kale, and he does start to stand up, kind of for a moment blinking back, and you see his eyes light up again, and he glances around quickly, and then just kind of falls back forward, almost like he's sick or something, and he just doesn't have his capacity around, and he just glanced around momentarily, and then he saw his eyes kind of drop again, and he falls back down, but not fully this time. He's a little more stood up, kind of more in a crouched position, his hand on his hip, ready to rise, but not fully able to break free of whatever it is that's holding him.
This lizard.
Right?
I know, that's
and
like, ugh.
In that moment, the caster figure, the last remaining individual that you see here, he jumps in and slashes out at the greatest threat in this space, being yourself in his perception. And see,
I mean, I did just to throw it at him.
Right.
Okay, and scare the other one off.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to take 2 swings, one with each dagger. The first one is a 12, and the second one is a 14.
That matches.
Okay, so the 14 does hit. So he slashes across you and does... just kidding.
That's a lot of dice. Wipe the dagger.
7 points of damage, and then I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
And you can add the d4 to that. It's not a one-use thing.
Yeah,
as long as I concentrate.
I was saying, it's not really going to do much for me at that point. 7 total.
Oh.
Okay, so...
We tried.
Yeah. Come here, you.
Sorry, guys, you poisoned me again.
I did not take
sort
that
of,
spell either.
But it's more of a damage-based poison effect.
That's fine.
So you take another... what is that number? math plus math is math. 10 points of damage. 5 plus 4 plus 1. So you get 10 points of poison damage, we'll call it. It does not leave a lingering effect of being poisoned, though, but it is poison damage.
Right.
And then he steps back, readying himself in a defensive stance. Attacks against him would have disadvantage in this moment because of his defensive stance. So we come back around now to Maze.
All right. Well, this isn't a concentration spell, but I'm going to try to cast blindness on the guy who's attacking Bryn.
You say it is a concentration?
It is not.
Oh,
so
okay.
it won't drop bless.
Perfect. Yep. Go ahead and cast that.
Ooh. Man, none of my dice are like rolling good for me today.
Not bad.
Okay, so that was a 12 plus. I haven't added my modifier. Would that be a spell attack?
That's an 11.
I guess no. It's probably got a save on it. What's the?
Oh, sorry, that's 11.
Is there a save on it?
Yeah. So there is a constant. Oh, I guess not.
That's
yeah,
probably
so it's
what
a
it is.
Constitution save. Sorry,
It's like
Constitution 12.
Constitution of 12. Use this one.
I didn't know if I had to like roll to cast it. I always get confused with spells.
Right.
I'm so used to like fighting everything.
And even without his bonuses, he does save against it. So you do see him briefly kind of shrink down a little bit, and then he just kind of raises his hand across. He drops one of the daggers and raises his hand across his finger, tosses the other dagger up, catches it in this hand, and then reaches down and catches the other dagger, and then spins them in his hands and faces back towards the wolf.
Ooh, went on Aria on this. Let's see. I can't. I mean, there was no spoilers there. So I cast.
Yet.
Can I run up to him and try to hit him, or is that going to be too much?
You can, because it's still because what you're trying to do, as I'm well aware, is most likely a melee attack.
Yes.
In essence, so
yes.
Feel free to roll your attack on that, see if you connect or
I'm
not.
gonna give this dice
And it does have a disadvantage. Remember that.
What he does?
Because of his position, so you're in disadvantage on your roll. So roll.
I am at disadvantage. Oh well,
Disadvantage
I could beat a 2. Oh no, I can't. I can't get worse than a 2.
You rolled a 2 and then a nat 1.
Then I rolled a 1. Yeah.
So
you are going into the beholder. You are a bad dice.
Right.
Num num.
So
there you go, Ben.
Roll a how do you roll for dexterity? Just dex. Roll a
just a
dex
d20
save.
and then dex
d20 plus 1 for you.
Big one's been better for me today. See, it was a 12 plus 1, 13.
Okay, so you go to swing at him, and he moves. But as he moves, it seems like a shadow of him stays in that location. And then you swing at him, and he goes to step forward and around you, swings an elbow back, and catches you just between your shoulders, and it causes you to kind of stumble forward, but you catch yourself, and you turn back around facing him.
Okay.
He's still locked on to Bryn.
Okay, but I'm paced. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You're now
that's all
in front of him and behind him. Note that.
So you still get your, we're flanking, he still gets his pack.
Yep.
Okay.
But
Am
now,
I within pack tactics still?
Would you?
You would be...
Because
So
he's attacking
he is
you.
right in front of you in melee range with you, which is a 5 feet square, and then she's on the other side of that. So theoretically, yeah.
Yeah.
So you would.
If not, it'd be
Isn't
flanking.
that just straight up advantage one way or the other?
Yeah, because either way, because it's either his pack tactics if
so
I'm 5
it's-
feet or flanking, which is the same.
Right. I think you'd be the same regardless. So either way, it gives you the same effect. But I think also, like say she was standing to the right, I think that would still count in this instance because it's within 10 feet.
5 feet is pack
5
tactics, but after what just happened, I feel like that's still within 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. The way that it's set up in this
I mean,
instance.
because I don't have
You didn't
5
get
feet
shot.
arms.
Exactly, because you're not tossed away
Yeah.
like has happened in some other instances. You are just pushed forward.
Nudged.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But clearly he does not see you as a threat.
Yet.
Yet.
Right. Make him regret that.
I shall.
So that does bring us around down to Kale now, who...
Oh, I should use the sword. Fun. Dang.
That is interesting because what you did in essence was you had this sword in your hands and you just dropped it to your side and went to take a swing at this guy, which theoretically could have been good, but we would see.
It's okay. He doesn't see me as a threat, so I'll use the sword the next time. And maybe
There you
I'll do
go.
something.
Exactly.
Because clearly this tiefling doesn't know how to use a sword.
And Kale does come back. He looks up, looks at Bryn as a wolf, kind of starts away for a minute, and then kind of recognizes the similar markings that he had seen before. He looks around. It's a foggy area. You can't even really see the trees barely anymore. He sees this dark figure standing there threateningly towards Bryn. May's on the other side holding up his sword like she's ready to strike at this figure. He's confused. He looks down at his hands. He reaches over his back to see if he can grab his sword and looks again at May's. And then looks back to the figure and just runs towards it and goes to tackle it. And as he jumps forward, the being in black here dodges and comes down again to strike with the elbow. Actually, he wouldn't because it hasn't been his turn again yet. So he does that, but as he swings back, he's so focused on the wolf that he doesn't make contact. And then Kale sends past him, then comes back around to that figure, who then again lashes out, this time swinging one dagger at Bryn and then stabbing the other one out behind him at Maze. And the one at Bryn is a 12, which misses because you're 14. And then the one at Maze is a 17.
Hits, which then invokes Hellish Rebuke.
Okay,
Dex save
perfect.
at 14, so it's probably very dexterous, though.
Yeah. And he does save against that.
Okay.
So
I can't remember how that works.
the
The creature must make a dex save. It takes 2d10 fire damage on a failed save. Oh, half of...
yeah, half as much on a failed save. So you roll 2d10.
Wait, 2d10? I've never
Yep.
used my 2d10s. I just put those away already. I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have to use... Oh, thank you. I'm like, that's a 10, and that would be a 7. Okay. You okay over there?
Yeah. Water went the wrong way.
Sorry. And then, 2d10. Which was, 17?
17. So then
And
you
then half that.
8 damage. Okay.
And marking that off.
Okay, perfect. So that does 8 damage to him, and now he's standing over Kaled Strats with this dagger stabbed into your shoulder, the other one raised up, and do the save for the poison damage on the dagger. So
Okay.
whatever that is. Constitution save.
I rolled a
God, do it.
19.
21.
Okay, so you do save on that. And then,
I wonder if I still
however,
have my rock, paper, scissors die in here. Like, I've never used those. They're little rock, paper, scissors.
make a dexterity saving throw as well, Maze.
Oh, really? Well, that I'm not. I mean, as
15.
That die is treating you well tonight.
I know.
Okay. So you grab a hold of it and just kind of shove it away, and as you do, you push yourself away just far enough to not receive the full force of a blast of energy that shoots out of the blade. Boom, and it comes out in a way that is almost like a plate. So it shoots out wide and tall, but not depth wide. Not shooting forward very far.
Okay.
Just like centralized around the blade, but then expanding directly out from where it's placed into. You feel as if having this in your chest when it exploded would have possibly tore your shoulder off. But you spaced away and the blast knocks you back and does 15 points of damage to you.
Okay.
Oof.
And then we come down around again to your actual turn.
Oh, my actual turn now.
So you'll have to step forward to him to do anything up against him.
I will try to. God, I don't even know. Try to swing the shiny sword at him.
Okay, so roll attack on that with disadvantage because unless you're proficient with great swords,
I rolled
I would say highly doubted you would be. So you rolled a 3.
Yeah.
That sword
So
specifically does have a +6 to it. However, that is not enough to hit. So it's such a heavy sword that, and with just being stabbed in your arm, you go to swing it kind of from the ground in this weird arcing motion that you're so unfamiliar with this size of weapon, and you just kind of arc slowly past him and then into the ground beside him and then go to start to ready another swing or something. And is there anything else you'd like to do?
Let's see. I will probably follow up with some sort of heals.
Okay.
I'm gonna see which one I can do as a bonus. Didn't realize I have 2-weapon combat. But I was like, I don't know why I have that. I can
If you do, theoretically, you could then pull your dagger out and
okay, yeah, it says
attack with
2-weapon fighting, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. But no, I'm gonna heal. I'm gonna do the cleric thing. And
your wolf form. I was like, did you not take damage yet?
Yeah.
Because I was just seeing how much I'd hurt each of you.
I'm basically the tank.
Yeah, you're right at this point. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, because like, how much damage? Are you hurt pretty bad as well?
No.
Because I feel like you've taken damage.
No, I'm good.
Just a small amount.
No,
You got
almost
lucky.
half, but
Which actually, did I roll the dagger damage for you?
the
For her?
For me?
I-
Yeah,
I think
you
it-
rolled it. That's why I took 15 damage.
That's not the dagger.
Oh, okay.
The dagger is this. So you would actually be down another 5.
Okay.
But then you saved on the poison, so you don't have that. You feel it start to seep in, and that's when you pulled it away.
Okay, so but I still
then
take the 5 damage.
Yeah, so you have 5 extra on top
Well,
of
okay, now
the
I'll
15.
heal myself then.
So you basically took 20 points
Okay.
of damage. Yeah, I thought I'd
All
done
right.
that,
I just need a 1.
missed it.
4
yeah, like my
plus
human
my
form has not taken
spellcasting
any
modifier.
damage.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I see.
So I get one more. wild
Okay,
shape
so I
today.
just added like 5 points.
True. Yeah, you could like go to human, and then your next turn go back into a dire wolf again.
All right, that would be my turn.
Okay, and then Bryn, it is your turn now.
Is the bless still active?
Yes.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, wait,
make
I
a
didn't roll
save
for
on that. Yeah.
What do I got to roll for that one?
You roll your
D20 and then it's
D20.
Is it? No,
I forget.
I rolled a 5, so
You don't. There's no way that with
Well,
anything you would
even
say
with,
you would.
yeah, I would say
keep it
even
up.
with the
I'm pretty. Yes, I think it's
8.
a 10. You keep it.
Yeah,
Under
no.
like over 10, you keep it. Under 10, you don't. Kind of
I was
thing.
I was at
So, yeah.
8.
So you do not have
No more
the
bless.
D4 anymore. Which
Constitution
ironically
save.
for Kale's situation, I didn't do the D4 on his grapple.
Oh wait, would
forgot
that
that.
be a Constitution
That's
save?
what this says.
Oh, okay, so that was a 8. That would be exactly a 10.
The DC equals 10 or half the damage you take, whichever number is higher.
Half, which would have been the same regardless. He took 20
Yeah,
points
yeah,
of
because
damage,
10 would
basically.
still, yeah. Thank you, Leon.
So then, yes. Yeah, I think it would
So
still be
the-
up there.
like
But by
at.
those words, because it's at, right?
Yeah, I rolled at 10. And
if
what
she
did we
rolls
always
at 10,
decide?
She keeps it. Well, if you meet it, like if you're trying to hit something,
Yeah.
then you meet it. So,
So we still have bless.
but it's trying to hit you in essence in this case.
And this was just,
Anyway,
concentration
yeah,
of like,
let's move
did I
on.
keep
I'm going to say
bless
you've
up?
dropped it.
Okay.
Just because of so much that happened all in that moment.
Okay.
So bless is no
Yeah.
Bless
longer
is
active.
gone.
Nearly got exploded.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just such a like, whoa, what type of scenario. But yeah, now we're down around to Bryn's attacks or actions.
Okay. Do I have advantage still? Because Kale is still within.
Yeah, Kale. Oh,
Kale's basically beneath him, so yes.
go for it.
All right. I'm gonna roll this first, and then might if it goes well, then I might decide on something specific.
Okay.
Nope.
What'd you roll?
Even worse. Okay, so that's a 9 is my good one.
Does not hit.
No.
So,
I was gonna try and bite the arm specifically.
Precision.
Yeah. And then see if I knock him prone with the bite anyways.
Right, exactly. So you gotta snap out and just his again form shifting to this kind of shadowy like figure beside him, and you bite that shadowed figure and nothing. And then it kind of snaps back to him. And he looks down at Kale at Strats as Kale swings up at him with a punch. And where's the die I was using for Kale? One. And as he swings, since the figure had looked down, the fist comes up, and then this figure just punches back down, almost like this epic fist bump type scenario, and just punches Kale's fist. And when the connection comes together, you see Kale at Strats, who is strong, extremely strong from everything you've ever seen. His fist meets it and then is driven backwards with an extreme amount of force into the dirt, so much that it divots in and kicks up some dirt around it, and his arm just falls limp to the side. And he looks up at this figure again now, and you see his eyes start to kind of cloud over. And then it is that figure's turn again, who will reach down now, seeing Kale kind of fading in and out but becoming more of a threat. He reaches down, sheathing both of the daggers, grabs Kale, and then the mists around you guys begin to rapidly right towards them, and then it explodes outward and they disappear. So it explodes, and as they disappear, both of you make perception checks.
Nine.
23.
Okay. So you both see this happen, and Maze, you turn and look to your right and then to your left, and you spin around and look directly behind you, and you see 30 feet away from you, they appear again. And now this figure is dragging Kale at Strats away, kind of starting to like heave him up to kind of get better leverage on moving away with him. You just barely see this, and they kind of pass around a tree there, and we're at Maze's turn.
So he's how far away?
So you don't see him.
Oh, I don't see.
You looked behind, to your right and to your left, but if you would have looked forward, you would have seen them, but you haven't looked that direction.
Yeah, okay.
You could intentionally attempt to perceive them again if you wanted to.
I would like to try to look for him.
So you could do that, and that would be your action.
Okay, yeah. So I roll for that,
Yep,
right?
roll perception.
Into 10, so that would be 11. I gotta go up.
And I don't know why that got confusing for a second there. So you turn and look behind you, and you don't see them because you looked again the wrong direction.
Okay.
It was a very high DC initially. So yeah, like even he just barely got it. So you've seen where they are. So you've turned and looked, and now you could move somewhere. You could go to like one of the three directions you've already looked. You could try to search there, or you could go up to Bryn, and those would be kind of your like movement options.
I would like to go to Bryn
like
and use thaumaturgy to just have make it sound like a whole pack of wolves are surrounding the area, like the elves are there.
Yeah. Ooh, actually, what is the distance on that?
So it's 30 feet for thaumaturgy.
So hearing within 30 feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so they hear it. You guys all hear it. And that would be
That would be my turn.
But they do hear it, and that would be your turn, and now we're on Bryn.
Okay, so I detected them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a speed of 50 feet, so I
Okay.
can definitely
We're
close the
raised.
gap
Okay.
very easily. Yeah, I'm just basically gonna try and like throw myself at him, tackle him.
Okay. So do your strength again, I guess it is. Yeah.
It's a 9.
It's a 9.
I made noise like a little bark or howl as I left. Whatever a wolf.
I imagine more of a
yeah
type of scenario, trying
growl.
to save this
Basically.
newfound friend.
Basically trying to alert her, hey, dummy, that way.
Right? Okay.
I'm distracted by all the leaves.
Right. Okay. So averaging that is that.
So obviously, if he takes off running, Mesa's going to be like, "Where you go?" Oh, that's
Right,
where you're going.
exactly.
Oh.
And, okay. So you get up to him and you go to jump at him, and he sees you coming, grabs Kale and spins around, pulling him and leaning his back up against a tree to get out of your way as you right past him. And then it comes Kale. See if Kale is affected again. Okay. And you look to see Kale just completely limp, eyes closed, asleep in front of him. Leaned kind of up against him. This figure is now grabbing for a dagger again, and you can see his eyes just staring at you from behind the slits in the helmet. And he's going to throw the dagger with one motion straight at you. And that is this one. And as he throws it, you haven't been hit by anything from this son of a bitch.
Nah, one attack.
Right? It hits into a tree directly behind you, and as it hits there, though, you hear this kind of sound happen, and then suddenly it just explodes. Make a dexterity saving throw for me. 17. Okay. So you saved, but take 4 points of damage.
Oh,
Shrapnel.
Yep, basically.
With splinters.
And you look back, and the tree now has this like gnarled gash in the side of it, burnt. And then you look back, and you see the same side where you had thrown the dagger from now has a dagger in that sheath. And he's reaching back down for it.
Got all sorts of bag of tricks.
And now it is Mace's turn.
So the dagger basically did return, right? Okay.
So they're 30 feet away
There
from
goes
you.
grabbing the dagger. Okay, so now I see, because he took off running, Maze looks where he's running. And what distance is that?
30, so you can get right up to them.
I don't
Within melee.
Well, from where I'm at,
because you were right. You were 30 feet away from where they went 30 feet, basically.
Before moving, I'm going to cast Hold Person, which is a range of 60 feet.
Okay, yeah.
Basically on,
Does Hold Person have any... Does you have to have full sight of the person?
Let's see. Yes, I can see within range.
Okay.
It just says see within range. The target must succeed a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, so you just barely see them. So he's going to have advantage on his save.
I mean, because I know what Kale looks like, and I mean, it doesn't say it doesn't say anything about cover.
But you have to see them, and realistically, you don't see him, so you're kind of guessing where he is. So that's why it would be that way.
Gotcha.
And he, what's the save?
12.
Oh, well, one of the rolls was a 19.
Wisdom, sorry.
So we even without modifiers. So rolled a 19. So he does not become affected by it. Doesn't even notice that it began to take hold.
Okay. I'm gonna run up there because Maze is getting pretty angry. Trying to see if there's something else I could do. Probably not. Sorry, I just read I was like proficient with a certain kind of weapon. I'm like, what? Really? Okay. That's good to know.
Is it great swords?
No. It's what is it? Martial weapons? Or, I was like, what?
Well, actually.
I was like, what? I guess, I mean, there's not really much I can do other than going up and asking. I'm going to.
You are actually proficient with a greatsword if you're proficient with martial melee weapons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang it. I just remembered. Yeah. So I'm going to shout at him because I'm going to get as close as I can because I'm not going to be within range to really do anything. Oh, actually, no. I can follow up and throw a dagger.
You could do either thing. You could even walk up and stab him with a dagger because 30 feet
will
your
I get
movement.
that close?
They're 30 feet your movement and they are 30 feet away.
Oh, they are.
So you would get literally right up to them if you chose to do that. Yeah. Or you would have some distance between yourself and this individual.
Now, Maze is just so angry and she's going to run up and try to just...
I love it. All right, roll your attack on that. You'll have no more movement, but you're right up there.
That was, let's see, 14. I'm trying to remember what I get for that. Plus weapon. 4, so 18.
18?
Yeah.
18 does hit.
Okay. Ooh, that's not, I mean, I don't do a lot.
Have you hit him yet, Brent?
Him?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't think so.
1d4.
Yeah, you destroyed the other two, basically.
Okay, so I rolled a 4, so 1d4 plus 1. So that's 5 damage.
Okay, perfect.
And is that possible to invoke? Where's the one where it's my trait where like I do damage and then like it's necrotic? Where is it?
Oh, so you do.
What is that? I saw it up here. Oh, touch.
It's your
is it touch of death?
It's channel divinity, touch of death.
Yeah, an extra 15 points of necrotic damage. Also, by shouting, "Who sent you?"
Okay.
She's angry.
So you stab into him, jumping around the tree and just almost driving him to the ground with the force of your blow. And as you begin to twist the knife in him, your arm, and you see this, Bryn, her arm that's bare just blackens. And this energy shoots down into her hand, changing the silver of the dagger black as well, and then kind of exploding out around this wound. There's this weird, like, liquid looking energy just spinning around, and then it shoots into him and you hear him just and he turns and looks at Maze and just stares you in the face. Doesn't say anything. And that brings us to Bryn's turn.
Well, I think you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a bite.
Bryn, I choose you. Bite attack now.
How's a sweet 23 sound?
Ooh.
That hits.
It was, what is it? Bryn rolls for it. Oh, it sounds lovely outside.
That's a 13
It is stormy now.
damage.
I love it.
Nice.
13 damage and DC 13 strength.
I like that your wolf picture has a little blood on the mouth.
Right,
So I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, that's
Nice.
you. Yeah, that's it.
You said 13?
Yes, sir.
Rolled a 15. So he's okay on the strength, I
Just want
guess.
to pin him down.
Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I need it. Forgot the mark that I
You guys are
cast
all
that.
like occupying the same space right now.
Yeah.
Pack tactics.
You guys are up against the tree, and
We're packed.
Maze is on this side, having just pulled the dagger back out, readying for another strike of some sorts. And he's looks at Maze, gets bit on the side, and looks down at the situation. And
Reassessing.
yeah, and like
Calculating.
in this moment, you see. Actually, both of you roll perception.
Is it hearing or smell?
Sight again.
14.
20.
Oh, wow.
Wolf is very perceptive.
Apparently.
20. So
Dirty 20.
you see a look of fear in his eyes. In your wolf form, you sense it, and it invigorates you, giving you this primal energy to like you want to attack again. And in this moment, I have to read something real quick.
Oh,
Okay.
It's like, why can I not mark my channel divinity off?
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, that would be about right. So.
Sorry, I just learned I have Savage Attacker too. God.
What's that mean?
Once per turn, you roll damage for a melee weapon. You can re-roll the weapon's damage and use either.
Everything. Oh my god.
I don't know. Maze is wicked.
Right? So.
God.
But you see this momentary look of fear, and then he hardens against it. You see, even behind the slits in the armor where his eyes are, you see his brow furrow in anger, and he raises one hand up and directly in front of him, casting a sphere of energy, and it is kind of a spear because it like starts as a straight up and down and then widens out, and it rips a hole in just the space of the area, showing you the area that you previously saw this direction is now not the same area. You now see a dark path, dead and decayed trees with mountains rising up, and a tunnel of some sorts right there in front of him. He grabs Caleb Strats, throws him through it, and then jumps in himself. And as this happens, it goes and
but I leap in.
Roll a d20.
8.
I know. I feel like we would go after him.
You go to leap at it, and you land in the dirt in front of you.
Can Maze roll? Because there's no way she's letting him get away.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
What are we rolling?
Just roll a d20, and we're seeing if it works.
Yeah, 11.
God damn it. So.
Because I want that kill.
In this moment, the wolf form dives forward and snaps at this creature and misses everything. You turn and look back around. Maze is gone as well. Maze, you feel this rapid surge of being pulled through space itself, and then you stumble over Caleb Stratz's body and fall to the dirt, jump back up, and you are now in single combat face to face with this being.
Okay.
I angrily howl.
And that is where we will pick back up after our break. Hello, we're back. So if you are just joining us, we are running our giveaway right now. We're just about to draw for it. And that is for the Phantom Black and Silver Chessex dice set we got from our friends at Tabletop Game and Hobby in Overland Park, Kansas. So if you would like to enter into that, you've got a couple more seconds to rush over to giveaway.rollthis.com and at least click one thing to try to get your entry in. So go do that. And I am going to get it pulled up here for actually drawing the winner. And we'll switch over to the everyone scene here as well. So as of right now, we're just about to draw. 3, 2, 1, Twitch delay, and button. Drawing. And as a reminder, our giveaways are United States only at the moment. We are looking to expand to the rest of North America coming up soon. So we'll see kind of where that falls. It's a thing where you got to look at like laws and shipping and all that, because we don't want to give away a dice set that's then going to cost somebody $40 in shipping because they live somewhere really remote in in Europe or something like that. So that's why we're kind of like a little slow with expanding out to like the global side. So we are looking at that for those of you that are international, just so you're aware. And also we are going to also consider some of the options of having people that are in the chat for our weekly giveaways, and then expanding out to larger giveaways as like a monthly giveaway. So just wanted to let you guys be aware of that, because we've got some really cool things coming up that I think you guys are going to like, and I think you'll like the way that we switch things up a little bit for the weekly giveaways as well. However, we have the most obnoxious winning name so far. If this is you and you're here, please let us know in the Twitch chat. I'm going to say it in a pronounced way of the way it's put in, and then I'm going to read the letters. That's what it says.
Bless you.
It is. SDFGBHFUGBFIUWEF. Congratulations to you.
Hopefully they remember that.
Your @name also has a bunch of numbers in it, but it does start with a Logan. So @Logan BR53216385. Congratulations for winning this stormy set of dice.
And giving us that little soundbite.
I will be emailing you at the email provided on Gleam, and that will happen within an hour or two after we get wrapped up with the show tonight, unless the power goes out because it is storming outside, so just in case. But yes, I will be sending you an email, and you will have I think it's 48 hours to reply to that email, and then once you've replied, we'll have your information and be able to ship them out. So with that, now to dive back into our story. So any of you that are just joining us at the halfway point here, Kalistratz was pulled away from camp. Spells abounded, slowing everyone down, making them lethargic. A battle ensued, with Bryn transforming into the direwolf and taking down 2 of the soldiers right out of the gate, with Kalistratz slaying one, knocking out another, and this sorcerer then misty stepping away after a short battle. Jumping ahead, Maze and Bryn had closed about Kalistratz and this figure, who then dimension doored away back to the blackened path that led up to the mountains. Maze and Bryn both attempted to leap after him. Maze being quicker and ready for this, she leapt right through. Bryn, however, jumped a moment too late. Now we have Bryn alone in the trees, turning, looking, trying to find where they might have gone.
Howling in anger.
Howling in rage and anger. And Maze, now crouched down, looking up at this black-cloaked, dragon-helmed figure who stares down at her curiously and reaches for his dagger. And
did my parents send you? And then I removed the hood so that he could see.
Who are your parents? I do not know.
You
what
dress
this is.
Very similar to the one that put them on the throne.
I serve the shadow.
We all serve the shadow.
Prove it.
Maze pulls out her dagger with her hand.
Okay.
And basically, you know how, like, when she touches things, the shadow, she lets the vampiric touch, necrotic damage kind of radiate from her hand? That's what she's doing. It's showing them that she has the touch.
He looks at it. And make a... Is it a deception?
Are you telling the truth?
You're not here.
You're not here.
But this wasn't to interrupt you saying
Right.
that. This is like, you're not here. Remember this as a player.
But this
Rin
really
is not
wouldn't be a
But is it
deception for
deception?
Maze. I mean, she has one that she's true to, but her death domain serves all.
but is she? It's
I
deception.
really, yeah.
So she's not necessarily specifically
You're trying to bend
aligned with
some truth
Guthok.
of yours.
Yeah, I'm like bending truth, I guess.
Yeah, so you're bending truth,
truth,
so it is deception.
Oh God, why do I roll shitty when I don't need to? 9, 10.
Prove yourself. And he points to Caleb Stratz.
With him?
He points to Caleb Stratz. And he's looking at you.
Okay.
And he said to prove yourself.
Alright. Mace takes her dagger, plunges it into his chest.
Okay. Roll your damage on that.
Oh, damage. Okay.
Because it's a straight up hit.
Okay. 5.
Okay.
I mean, it's a 1d4.
Okay. And are you using your necrotic energy as well?
Nope. Just basic usage. Because I've already used it once. It's a once per melee, or can't remember how that works.
Okay.
Because I don't think
You can use. It's a cantrip.
It is.
Yeah.
I will use it just to prove it.
Okay. So roll the attack as on that, or roll the damage on that as well.
I know you're so confused. Yep. Okay, so yeah. Wait, is that an attack or is it?
It's just
automatic?
a damage, so it automatically happens because it's a cantrip. Just then do the damage for it. So your 2d6s now.
Oh yeah, my 2d6. Okay. That way he can see the necrotic damage
Yep.
that I'm rolling. Oh God. 10. Well, they're
Okay.
both 5s.
Yep. So
Yeah.
and make sure to heal yourself up as well by 5
Okay.
because you have the half heal.
He gives me life. Thank you.
And,
I use him for life.
And in this moment, you stab right down into Caleb Stratz's chest. The energy, I think, again coalesces around your hand and shoots down into him, exploding and then sinking in. And you hear Caleb, and then he falls back again.
As I take his life, I need him for my cause, for our cause. He is good. I will change that.
He reaches up and takes the mask off, and he kind of like clips it to this piece on his like a cross
It's like a
piece of like
little hook or
leather that has
something.
like a clip on it. And he clips the helmet to that, and you see this kind of twisted and ghastly face. The face of maybe an elf, maybe a human. You can't see the ears or anything because the hood is still up. But it's this very pale, kind of grayish, but more like paper whitish. Somewhat.
Wait, more paler than me. Come on.
Roughly, honestly, about your level of paleness.
Okay.
And he has this kind of like almost decay across the side, one side of his face,
Like a necrotic type.
kind of like necrotic, just decay, and his eyes are fierce and black. And he looks to you. You have proven yourself. Help me carry this creature. And he goes to grab the front of Caleb Stratz.
I'll help.
Do you grab the feet?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll grab the feet.
And you guys begin to journey up the hillside towards the cave entrance. Bryn, after they have disappeared, what will you be doing? Roll first a wisdom check.
Let's do a 13.
Perfect. I had a pretty low DC on that one, but I just wanted to have you roll it regardless as a just-in-case scenario. You do know the direction of where the path is, and you also kind of...
Is it somewhere I've seen before?
Yeah. So you recognize that it is the same path that you'd been following. However, it's farther forward from where you had gotten to. So you will have to run through the woods to get to where they are. And as you come back towards where the camp is to kind of meet back onto the path and shoot over to it. I assume you're running that direction. Yes. Okay. Running that direction.
Wolf form.
Yeah, in wolf form. Yep.
I got 2 hours of it.
You definitely are still able to do so for now. You rush forward, and springing in front of you, two of the black leather-clad individuals jump out in front of you and are going to try and stop you. Are you going to run through them, try to bowl them over, or are you going to attack against them?
I'm going to run.
Okay. Are you going to run like around them, like stop, turn, and run? Or are you going to just try to run
dodge around them?
Okay. So...
Use my wolf agility.
Yeah. So roll 2 dexterity check saves, whatever it is in that moment. But it's dexterity based. Roll your d20, add your dexterity, and then we'll see.
One's a dirty 20, and one's an 8.
Okay. So you manage to dodge past one of them, but the second one lashes out, and see if he actually hits. And he does hit, doing... Wait, what? Why do those look the same? Weird. He does 6 points of damage to you as he swings with his sword as you kind of go past. The other one attempts to grab at you as this kind of stutters you down. Make a strength save.
22.
Okay, and you've taken the damage, and you shake off the one that grabs a hold of you, kind of pulls some of your fur out, and falls to the ground and jumps back up, and they are giving chase at this point, but you are out of their melee range. So are you going to continue running?
Yep.
Perfect. What's your
Just
speed?
the regular speed is 50.
Speed as a wolf is 50. Okay.
And then I'm dashing.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
So every round you'd be dashing, which makes your speed 100.
Wow.
If they are chasing you, their speed is 30. They'd be dashing to chase, which makes theirs 60. So over the course of the next, over the course of the next 2 to 3 minutes or so, you do feel you've put distance between yourself and these creatures. As you come back, you burst through the campsite area, glancing around quickly to see if you see anything you recognize of any of your party there, and you see nobody there. So you continue on towards that spot that you had seen through the portal. This would be probably, I almost asked you guys what time it was. Like in the game, not in the time.
It's still morning.
It was morning, so it would be. I bet that sounded great in the microphone. I've done it before too. But you come to the path and you begin to follow it northward, and you don't see Maze or the other being or Kaled Strats, but eventually you come upon in the late afternoon this area where you know that they've been there, and this seems to be where the path where the trail kind of picks up again, and you look around, and this seems visually like the same spot you glimpsed through the portal as well. You smell something odd, kind of an irony smell to it. You glance about and you see blood, and you get closer to it, and having Kale damaged previously beside you, having blood drawn, you notice that this is Kaled Strats' blood. There's not a massive amount of it, but he was bleeding here in this spot. And you had remembered that he had not been damaged prior to coming through the portal. And you don't notice any blood from Maze in this area or the other creature.
Maze has been dropping leaves.
Okay.
While dragging, carrying his feet, just a leaf every once in a while.
Perfect. What is
Some grandma
your perception? Your passive. What's your passive as a wolf on perception?
17.
Ooh, really?
Okay.
Wow.
And
Those are awesome.
and you're you. And so we'll say that's that. Roll a d20 and I'm going to make decisions.
It's always scary when DM says that.
17?
Okay.
Just flat.
I'm going to say that works because you hit that plus my statement of you're you is you live here. You know this area. You know the foliage. You know all of it. And you can recognize the difference between the growths here. So this scar upon the land has caused all of the plant life to be dead. But not just dead in the sense of fallen leaves, dead in the sense of blackened and gray, almost like a fire has gone through here.
Like the life was sucked out of it.
Like the life itself was removed from it. However, you notice a couple of random dead leaves. And you sense that by going over and smelling them, you sense you
Give them a little snuffle.
yeah, you give them a sniff and you smell the familiar scent of mazikeen on each of these leaves. And you remember her obsession with collecting these leaves to drop on dead bodies. And it gives you a moment of worry thinking of what might have happened here, the blood and the leaves. And then you see that the leaves are trailing off. So you begin to follow it and you glance up and down, keeping your course and noticing that the leaves appear to be leading you towards the cave in the side of the mountain. Maze. You reach the entrance to the side of the mountains. Are you still assisting willingly and
Yes.
everything? Okay. As you come up to the edge, you see two figures move out from the sides, hands on swords, wearing the same jagged black leathers. However, these have gray stone appearance cloaks so that they can cover up and basically vanish into the sides of the mountain
Gotcha.
here.
So kind of like what Maze
Yep.
does with the darkness. Gotcha.
Mhm. Yep. And they step out, recognizing the individual leading this, curiously glancing to the dragonborn being carried through, and then looking at you with a stance and a readiness to attack. And they address the... Oh, you speak Infernal. So they address the leader here in this instance. What has transpired? What has happened below? And he responds quietly. Make a perception roll to see if you can hear what they're saying. You are very close, so.
Let's see, 9, so that's probably like just a 10.
But that will do it if it is.
Yeah, it's a 10.
Okay, perfect. So you do hear him in kind of a muffled voice. I've captured the dragon. I bring him to the sorcerer. And the other two are... And this one? She is one of us. He raises his voice back up. Understood. And they step back. And then as they step back, you guys pass through and they turn again into their kind of alcove area and just vanish into it.
Maze will remember that.
Yeah. You are in a disgusting cave. There's this like blackened sludge almost across the ground
Definitely
and
worse than Sarah does.
up on the sides. Yeah. And there's these webs hanging from the ceiling, large webs. This is a 15, 20 foot tall and wide kind of oval, oval.
Possibly where the Drider came from?
Yes.
Okay, big enough for Drider.
Yeah, it seems very much like that kind of thing. It would be 25 feet in height here. And you see bones and skulls and such just kind of scattered around, broken and shattered, of animals, a couple humanoid looking. You see one man off to the side, kind of in that mummified state, as if the life was just sucked out of them, with his mouth kind of jawed kind of off to the side, wide open, just kind of look to him. And you pass down and you are in kind of this labyrinth of tunnels. Reminds you of Sanasa's lair. However, it is darker. Not in visual contrast. Darkness is darkness, but in perceived darkness, as far as the feeling you get, the weight that comes onto you. It's almost hard to breathe through it. And you glance about and you see all these sickly looking spiders clambering up the walls with like spines and spikes coming off of their backs. Some of them larger than your hand, and a few of them turn and look at you, and their fangs kind of drip some kind of liquid from them that when it hits beside your feet. You glance around another corner after taking a couple of turns, and you feel as if you're traveling both up and down and around and left and right, and you're making turns that then lead you almost back the same way you came, but then shooting way back up and then dropping. And you feel as if you've been going down for a while. It kind of levels out, and the air around down here is very damp and musty. You hear kind of like trickling water off to the sides. You see a couple of pools beneath stalactites with stalagmites rising up kind of around them, bordering this rough path that leads through here. The smell down here is still awful, but it's getting a little better. It seems a little more maintained, or maybe that the decay itself was not started until higher levels, so that it could keep this barrier here in some way. Eventually, you come to a wall of stone that opens up, and it opens as if it's gates. But as you approached it, it looked like just a solid stone wall, and it opens into a city of some sort that is underground and built into the cave here that now is just open, explodes open. It's massively tall. You're still in a cave.
We're under the mountains, right?
Yeah, you're under the mountain.
Range.
You're still in. You're still in a cave, 100% here. But it is so tall you can't even see the ceiling. Your dark vision doesn't go far enough to even see that high. But you do see like lights up high in the distance. You're now in this subterranean forest area of these gnarled, twisted trees that bear some resemblance to the tree that you saw in Morelia's house, but these look like a sick version. They are growing but wilted. They have no visible light to them. They are just blackened trunks with deep maroon leaves kind of hanging down off of them. There are pools of water now larger like ponds, a lake in one instance. You continue along this path and you come to the city itself. The first door only opening up into this forested area. And before you get up to the city itself, you hear these type sounds off in the distance, and you see this kind of shadow just pass over you real quick. Glance about, no idea what it was. You see eyes watching you from the trees here. You come to the door, which is ornately carved in the likeness of a massive drider adorned with a crown. It is a female, topless, standing strong with a spear held across this way. In front of her, depicted on the bas-relief, are small figures bearing similar resemblance to her humanoid body, but not having the spider lower body, having legs. They are all either depicted as surrounding her, worshiping her, bowing down, raising hands up, with the ones in the closest to you array on this massive relief, massive carving. That the ones closest along the bottom edge are all soldiers, adorned in helmets that have these spines that wrap around and kind of come down almost like spider legs. And you get to the door, and it doesn't immediately open, but you see the figure in front of you kind of cover his mouth, and you hear muffled noises coming from him, and you don't. What languages do you speak?
We speak Abysmal, Common, and Infernal.
Okay, and you don't recognize this language. Okay. And then the gates kind of shimmer all along. The edges of every piece of the carving starts to shine in this silver, and then transitioning to purple kind of magical energy, and they swing inward. And you step forward into this space, still carrying your fallen, to all regards, companion, into this city. You look about, and it's beautiful, but horrifying. There's all of these depictions of these creatures, these demonic creatures, spiders everywhere. The actual spiders that are alive in this area are the size of cats, but they are all like Black Widow style spiders, like black, shiny. They look maintained. They look taken care of. They look like they are not in any capacity you've ever witnessed spiders of being, killed or shoot away, or the spiders you've seen, even the giant spiders, are kind of wolf spider-esque. These are all this shimmering black. And they have these massive fangs hanging down and curling under from the fronts of their mouths. A couple of them kind of skitter past you, and you see that it appears as if they're like intentionally looking up at you as they kind of move sideways, watching you.
Maze looks like,
one jumps down and lands on Kalitstrats. The figure in front of you turns, and as he turns, he releases one of Kalitstrats' wrists. You see this kind of shadowed instance where, again, his shadow like separates from his body, spinning so quickly that he turns back around, grabs Kalitstrats' wrists, his hand expanding to where he can reach around and grab both wrists with one, and he picks the spider up and then sends it off magically off to the side to slowly rest it on the side, and he kind of glares at it. And he spins back around, reforms to his full natural form, carries Kalistrat's further. You come again to this gate, similar to the one you had seen before, but this one is just the Drider figure. And then on either side is the representation of two figures, humanoid, standing one to each side. You can't discern their gender. It seems almost intentional. And they are carved in a sense where they are not at her level in size, but close. Each of them are turned halfway towards her and halfway towards the front, guarding and honoring. And then there are jewels set all about this. Multiple deep purple and dark reds, all just kind of very intricately placed along the edges of this doorway, down the center, giving it a beautiful visage. Even though it is such a dark image, the shine to it almost mesmerizes you in this moment. It gives you a sense that maybe this isn't as bad as it looked initially. You know, you may even begin to feel some kind of interest in this place. It does remind you a lot of a darker version of Kazesh as far as the way the style is. As you've come closer to this gate, about to enter it, you've noticed a multitude of dark elves have begun to look out the windows and kind of gather from the alleys and glance about at you. Some you notice and then they turn back into the shadows, vanishing from your sight, all of which have these red glowing eyes. They sometimes transition as you look at them from red to this deep purple and then back to red, and those are typically the ones that you see kind of vanish off. And as you come to the gate, there are a number of armed and adorned soldiers, knights it seems, but all in black with the same kind of spider-esque horns about them. These helms not resembling any that you had seen previously, far more ornate, far more stylized. And as you approach, they say nothing. They just place both hands on the gate. You see an energy field appear around their hands, and then the gates just silently open. You walk through, and the gates close behind you. Bryn, as you make your way up to the cave entrance, roll perception for me.
Yeah, 20.
Nice.
Okay.
20's for days today.
Fire.
Wow. So you notice two figures, and this is before you're close enough for them to notice you, and you're well aware of this from your beast form. You can duck down, and you haven't been noticed, but you notice that there are two figures attempting to hide in the rocks right at the entrance of this cave. They seem humanoid. How will you approach?
Probably can't just stealth past it, I would imagine.
You might be able to. You might not.
You're
welcome to try.
I say it has become late in the evening. The sun is setting at this time, so the light is on your side as a wolf. This is your prime hunting hour kind of thing. So there is that. However, these are some form of guards or hunters or something you perceive, and so it is possible that may not work for them. They may be accustomed to it. It's a 50-50 shot. if you chose to do so.
Do they look particularly dangerous?
All you can tell from there is that they are there. Like the idea is that they are there in a guard position, preparing to keep anything from entering into this space, is the idea that you would gather from looking at them. They don't necessarily, they don't look like the sorcerer you just fought. They look like soldiers, like the ones that you dealt with behind you, but dressed slightly differently.
So I don't perceive them as any particularly strength.
No, they don't seem to be like obnoxiously
threat.
strong or a terrible threat of any kind.
Okay.
They're as threatening as humans would be to you.
Right. I'm gonna try and stealth as close as I can
Okay.
to them.
Okay, so roll your stealth on that.
How's a 10 sound?
You begin to stealth up, and you do get fairly close. However, you thankfully are in animal form, so you hear a brief call out, very quiet call out, just you hear some shuffling up ahead of you, and you are probably within 30 feet of the entrance, kind of skulking around, sniffing around the area, and you hear the creak of a bow being drawn, and an arrow shoots out but misses, clatters in front of you, and then a second from the other side of the entrance clatters behind the other side of you. How do you react?
And this is from both the guards?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to do what I was thinking of doing and just attack them.
Okay, perfect. So
I was hoping to get some sort of sneak attack.
Yeah. So the arrows both shoot at you. Yeah, they rolled a 15 and 14 respectively against your 11, I think it was. So the arrows both missing you, and you hear one to the other, not any better than me. Pulls up again to like you're going to go shoot again. Roll initiative on this, and I'll roll for them. We'll see what the order is. Attack. What did you get?
21.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
High number.
Yeah.
So you do not get sneak attack, but you do get the first attack.
Yeah.
So in front of you, you have a cave that is 25 feet wide, with an individual on the right and an individual on the left. Choose your target, sir.
Leap at the left.
Okay, perfect. You run forward, leaping at the left side. And
16.
16, you chomp down on one of them, doing how much damage?
8. And
Okay.
strength saving throw.
Perfect. So you make 8 points of damage, and what's the save have to be?
13.
He fails. So you grab him and just wriggle him about, and then throw him prone.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? And then you've thrown him prone beside you. He's now bleeding profusely from the left side, and it is that your full turn?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. The other one, seeing this, and he pulls his arrow back and shoots at you, afraid. I said that before I dropped the die, and the die on the first one, I said afraid, meaning that he would have disadvantage.
Right.
And before the die hit, I said that. It landed on a natural 20. The second one is a 17 plus a bunch, but It's better
Not
than
a
a nat
crit,
20.
right.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
he hits you doing
that
only 1 point of damage anyway. So it just like scrapes across the top of your shoulders. Just like you hear him draw his sword out, dropping the bow to the ground, and now he's there, but he's not moving yet. And you are now up. You have the one on the ground. He's just like, I skipped him because of the way the situation happened. He doesn't deserve a turn at this point. So how will you proceed?
I will. I feel like I would just want to finish off the guy on the ground.
Okay. Roll your attack with advantage.
Well,
No, you
that's
can't
a 20.
beat that, man.
Okay.
20.
Roll your damage because,
That's 4 of them. You still roll damage on this?
Yes.
Crit? I always forget every single time.
Yeah, you roll the dice. The dice is doubled.
Doubled, that's right.
And then after the dice is doubled, any additions go to that.
So that was 9
And then plus anything.
plus 3.
Okay,
So
so
18, 21.
21 total points of damage now at this point. That's what I thought it was. He's dead.
Yeah.
You just tear him to shreds, just
Maybe Bryn is not that good.
and then you turn back to the other one, just blood dripping from your mouth.
He's got
A little bit of his
blood in
flesh stuck into your tooth, and you just kind of spit it off to the side. And you glare down at the other one who he knows he's dead, and he runs forward at you with his sword to swing down two-handed, and does hit again. And he swings into you, cutting into you, doing wow. Okay. 10 points of damage. Did that take you out? Oh man. Does 10 points of damage to you, which then you said knocks you out of your form.
Oh.
So,
That's
and then
pretty
suddenly
shocking.
in front of him, this man appears, stern-faced, determined, wielding staff, and staring right at him. Slightly taller than he is, looking down. The guy is, whoa, what the hell? And he gets the sword ready to stab forward at you. What do you do now?
I call upon nature's power to buff my quarterstaff.
Okay.
And I'm gonna bonk him.
Perfect. Just
I don't do that all that often.
Yep. Swing forward and
so what does
wall
that
upon
do?
him. Roll your attack there.
That's a 19.
Oh, to hit? Yeah, definitely hits.
Yeah.
I was like, is that 19 points of damage? Jesus.
No,
That's a strong stick.
That's some wood handling right there.
Right?
6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. Okay, so you crack him with the staff. Is there any extras or anything on that? That's the total?
That's the total.
Perfect.
I rolled a 2 plus 4, so.
Perfect. So you crack him with the staff, and then it's back to him, and he swings forward at you. I got it to it. I rolled it. The natural 20.
Oh.
And he does... What is that? Okay,
Sadly, no
you're still alive. So,
discipline for shitting his
20 points of damage.
Jesus.
Cuts into you with his blackened blade and steps back, readying it, feeling more confident now.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah. You went from fighting this giant wolf to a human. Got a good hit on him.
Yeah. Let's not have that happen again, please.
Right? Yeah, no, that's actually 2 of those that I've rolled with this guy too. The first one just got negated because of his fear. Oh man.
Is he within 5 feet? Yeah, he's within
Yeah,
5
he's
feet. Yeah,
and
definitely.
he's on you.
Let's do a little ice knife.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I'm just kind of hoping I can save versus the ice. And
Well,
he
you
does
could
not.
step back as you cast it.
Ooh. Well, is that an
So, wait,
opportunity attack?
Is
though?
it a like throwing dagger that he does with the ice?
I create a shard of ice and fling it.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm not going to get an opportunity attack, I could do
In
that.
my eyes, as you, this is a one motion thing. You
is like-
step back, throw it forward, it hits, it impacts, and does its thing.
Sure, sure.
And in that moment, he would then, if he saved and was still alive and all that scenario, have a like swing out type of thing, depending on the level of effect that the ice knife itself has on him.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, ish.
Still a bit of a risk.
I got some John Woo stuff going.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay,
Let's give it a shot.
perfect. And what's he save against? What number?
Well, I have to...
You have to hit to see if you hit, and then
Right.
his save
hit,
exists.
Yeah, I'll try and hit first.
Okay. I guess if you hit, he doesn't have a save. At that point, you can't get away from something in you.
That's true.
Yeah. 1. No, I wanted that to happen. It would have been so
know.
cool. Oh, I'm so sad.
I am
but-
too.
But he does take some damage.
Right, the shard explodes and he has to do a dex save.
Of
15.
Wow.
and he fails it. To
Okay.
say even without modifying is what I was going to say, but he actually straight up
So
failed
does your
it.
ice shard end up just looking like a little ice cube that just...
So you throw it towards him, and he swings his sword up and like kind of parries it. But as it impacts with the sword, it explodes, doing
3 damage.
3 damage.
Yeah, it's not. I only cast it first
This
level.
guy's gonna be your door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
Man.
he's at 9
No, I
now.
took the first guy out like
One
like
hit,
you said.
basically.
I was
yeah.
like, get it. Oh,
And
man.
yeah, so into his, he swings at you with. I don't remember, but he swung with 2 hands on the first one. I feel like there's a thing that should have been done there that I didn't do, thankfully. And he swings forward, but in his frozen state, he kind of like is not fully recovered from that. And he swings and misses right in front of your stomach, just catching part of your cloak, maybe flowing forward, just cutting it. And now it is back to you.
I'm gonna see if I can do that again.
Okay, yeah,
Only properly this time.
perfect. Ungleifen.
I want this to work.
Okay, that's not a natural 20, but it's a 20.
That hits.
Dirty 20.
So that is just 4 damage from that, and then just the save.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
So what is he saving against? Like the
And that was actually only a 10 this time. So he
So-
doesn't save
So
either
does
from
not-
that. So this one into his chest and
Really?
Wow.
Only 2 cold damage.
guess
there's a
guess
one
how many
each
you
time.
needed. 2.
Nice.
Oh,
This
yes.
ice stabs into him. Ooh. He looks up at you and it starts to grow about him. He looks down, drops his sword to the ground. He rips at his stomach and then it just explodes. And
That's so cool.
his legs drop to the ground in front of you. And that's
got
all that
cold
remains of your enemy. Sitting at the entrance of the cave, you now feel back alone. You don't sense anything else in this area except for a few errant spiders and other weird creatures like that. No immediate threats. But you know the task ahead of you, the road that you have to follow to find your companions, to find the source of this corruption. It's not a safe one. A lot of dangers lie in front of you. You're unfamiliar with this area. You've never been into this cave before, though you are familiar with other caves in the area. You get the sense that there is something evil at work far below. As you begin to step forward, hair on your back of your neck kind of rises with each step as you glance about. lighting a fire in your hand to see, because otherwise you'd have no vision in this space. You glance about to kind of get your bearings. Take a breath. Step forward into the darkness. And that is where we'll pick up next week. Presumably with a full party.
Yay!
Of some sorts, though one is still incapacitated.
Sorry,
and has
Kale.
been stabbed by the other that he was already quite suspicious of. We'll see where all of this rolls into next week right here, twitch.tv/RoleThis at 7 p.m. Central Time. Thank you guys for hanging out. We appreciate you all, and we'll see you next week. Adios.
Roll out.